Yeah, 999 show matinee. And today, of course, it's a matinee for me. It's just a shade after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I just woke up not too long ago because I'm a night person, but Alexis here is not a night person, and and so this is like way. It's kind of her. It's what 3:30, four
Yeah,
thirty.
it's actually 4:30, a little after 4:30 right now.
Yeah, yeah. You're kind of going into evening time
Yes.
and everything, and then to go on to I don't know what time you go to bed, but I'm sure that because I go to bed around 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and
Well, that depends, Bill. I think last night I looked at the clock and it was 4:44 a.m. So I was right
yeah,
around with you this morning.
earlier because I started falling asleep on the couch watching watching whatever I was watching. I think it was just I don't know. It was whatever mindless YouTube I watched in the night, which is not really anything serious. It was more like let's see. Oh, that's right. I was watching lots of politics. That wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I went to bed watching YouTube last night as well. I was watching all of the Leo readings because I am a Leo. So that's what I was watching.
yeah.
And then YouTube ended up watching me.
Well, yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah. I loaded up, and then right before I came on here, I loaded my queue up with even more politics and uh and so
Well,
forth. But
don't overdo the politics because that just makes people that just is upsetting sometimes. So don't overdo it. Don't do it too much.
well, I know that I do like politics, but then that's why I set those boundaries that I would never wasn't going to really to talk about it on this show, but maybe in the future when things
Yes.
change
Yes.
and everything, and then maybe when I graduate to a different setup, that when I get my go run this show through like a computer, and I got that $1,000 camera that I have
Yes.
so
Yes.
I can do both
Yes.
the vertical and the horizontal lives, and that I can
Yes.
come out through the same app as a mobile phone does, and run off it, and then have a
Right.
microphone and because mixer boards and all that stuff, so you got the fantastic sound. Get that $50,000 sound going on, which is
Yes.
about all the time. But anyway, I wanted to welcome everybody there. That's Tapestry of the Unseen. Yeah, well, 4 a.m. is late, but not if you not if the last job you had before you started doing something else was working as a bartender. 4 a.m. going to bed is not late at all
No, it's not.
if you are an alcohol server, if you are a
Yes.
bartender, if you're a and I worked in a casino all the way up until the pandemic, or pretty much, and that was that. So it's 7 a.m. here when it's 4 a.m. my time, and granted, now
Right.
it's there. That's I know that if I go to sleep after 4, I'm pretty much guaranteed to have a migraine, to go into a migraine cycle, and yeah,
Yeah.
5 or 6, and then which it want take like 2 or 3 days, and this last month has been really bad because I've been having like 2 migraines
Oh, wow, Bill.
a week, and they've been like back to backs and everything. And I wasn't
Yeah.
really talking about bad health or whatever, because I that's the price to have a little to be a bit on the psychic side is I also have migraines, and
Yes.
you know, and anyways, and so tapestry of unseen, welcome, essence of the moon, welcome, and winds of reflection, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
I'm not a bartender now. You're right, Essence of the Moon. I was did that for roughly 2 or 3 years, and I think it was just as one of my supervisors said that. Well, you can't bartend because you can't multitask, which is true. I'm not a multitasker, but I can do one task at a time really fast. And you know,
That's it.
and I'm not like I was when I was a kid, where if I changed gears, I got upset. So I've my neurodiversities are all in are all in control, so that I don't
Mm,
get that upset when somebody tells me to change gears. I don't do that anymore. But I was
right.
25. And so I was able to grow beyond that and to be able to fit in this world.
Yes.
Madame Maru, welcome, welcome. Windsor,
Hi, Maru.
welcome. And all right, I think that's everyone. And Jackie's Crystal Mood.
Jackie. Hey,
She's gonna
Jackie.
be on. She's gonna be on Tuesday, and I don't know how I'm gonna make it that early in the morning, but I will try.
You will push through, Bill. You will push through.
I'm gonna push through. Yeah. All right, let's get started. 'Cause I've been just running my mouth off here, and so we're doing the Three of Wands. Oops. And while I turn the camera down and get started, Alexis here is going to tell us all about her channel and those things that she really wants to talk about. And hopefully she's a she'll talk a lot. And then I'm just going to color, and that's all I'm going to do here.
Okay, let's do
I'm
it.
moving around so you won't see my clutter and all that. Let's do that. You see my hand? Oh, just talk to the hand right there. All right, get. All right, here he goes.
Okay. All right, everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see you all. Hi there, Fatima. Blessings. Blessings, everyone. I'm so excited when Bill contacted me and asked me to be on today. I'm so excited because I've always wanted to be on here with Bill coloring. So I am really excited. And the Three of Wands, if you all watched my video yesterday, I did the Three of Wands because I knew that Bill was going to do this today. And I'm like, well, let's do the Three of Wands. And I just thought that it's so sweet because I love this card so much. It's so much good energy and confidence in this card and the progress that we're going to see at the end of Bill's coloring. So I'm really excited about it. And for anybody new here, I mean, everybody here so far are all of the people who I know and love so much, who support me so much here. And my beautiful, beautiful sister, Selena, and Lila, the beautiful tapestry of the unseen, and Madame Maru, and my beautiful Jackie from across the pond, and Fatima, and the beautiful, beautiful Rabneet, who has such beautiful videos. I just love watching you all so much, and you all support me so much. And my channel is Alexis Milner, which is my name, and I do Lexi Talks. And when I came back to this platform back in January 5th to be exact, of 2025, with five being the number of change, I wanted to do this so badly. During the winter arc last year, back in October, my daughter and I decided that we were going to come to YouTube and be consistent and do videos every day. Well, she works like a 12-hour shift most days. So she can't always do a video every day, but I can. And so since January 5th, I have been posting anywhere from one to sometimes three videos a day, maybe shorts and a video every single day. I have not missed a day. And I have over 300 videos on my channel. And today's episode was episode 172. And this month I've been focusing, mostly I focus on me being a sexagenarian in my 60s and just being a woman here on YouTube, a Black woman coming back to this platform after having it for 14 long years and not really posting a lot of videos, but just being my raw and honest, authentic self here. That's what I strive to do. And I just have gained so much knowledge here. And I've gained so many friendships here. And beautiful Nancy at A Crone's Intuition was the first person really to see me. And also Sally from Sally D's Reality. And they were the first two people. And Nancy and I hit it off like gangbusters. And Nancy's like, I want to get to know you and to meet you. And it just blossomed into the most beautiful friendship ever. And Nancy introduced me to so many beautiful people here. And the first person I think that Nancy introduced me to was my bestie, and that's Ange at Roots and Waves. And then I met the beautiful Selena, my sister from another mister. And I've met all of you here that have just, bring me so much joy every day because you give me your time and the energy. You give me that positive energy. You give me the beautiful comments. You share my channel. You ask people to come and support me. And right now we have 218 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. And I know that it's slow. And, everybody's like, well, you post a video every day and you should have more than that. Well, it's organic. And I'm not doing all of the you can grow YouTube and YouTube at 60 and all that kind of stuff because it's not really my niche. My niche is basically being a talking head and talking about the things that I'm passionate about and the things that I'm feeling, and that's what I like to do. And really about things that have gone on in my life, about things that happened to me as a child and about my mother who has passed away now. And June 7th will make 4 years since my mom passed. And she would absolutely, positively, 100% love this. She would love it here because she loved it whenever I would post her videos on Facebook and her birthday and all her pictures. I mean, most of the people who really knew my mom were on Facebook, and she loved it. She loved the attention and everything. So I know that she would just love this YouTube and she would love everybody in this space. And because she was a diva, she was my love. And so my daughter and I, when we decided to come back to do this thing, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. But, and if you go back and look at episode 1 till now, you'll see such a growth in me and how I started on episode 1 on January 5th to where I am now, episode 172 here on May 24th. I mean, it's such a big growth, and the growth in me and my weight loss journey. And being here on this platform has really sparked me to learn more and to want to, after receiving my Bachelor of Arts degree at age 49 in educational studies. And then I went straight through, and age 51, I got my master's degree in education. And my specialty is adult education and training. So this is the place for me to come on and talk and mentor and do those things. And now I am studying for my NASM certification in wellness and life coaching. And eventually that'll branch off into a whole nother thing, right? A whole nother channel eventually. And where I'm able to coach people of a certain age and in my age group, or anybody over the age of 40 who is trying to lose weight and who just wants to change their lifestyle and change their mindset. And that's what I really, really, really am interested in doing, in really getting people to where they need to be and where they want to be. Because I know most people think that, oh, they can't do that. They can't do that at all. And, but you can, it's never too late. You're never too late. You're never too old to do anything that you want to do. You're never too old. I mean, I'm going to be 61 in less than 2 months, and my life is just beginning. And my life began at 60, which is what I talked about in my video today, the aging process and navigating, turning 60 and all of that. And today pretty much was aging isn't linear, right? It's not linear. It's not just a straight up and down anything for us. We're all different people and we all age in a different way, and our brains all work differently. And I just want people to know that turning 60 is not a death sentence. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Look at Nancy, our beautiful Nancy at Crohn's Intuition. She turned 78. I keep saying she looks like a teenager, right? She looks like a teenager. She's so beautiful inside and out, as are all of you here. So, it's never too late. It's never too late. You could take that cue from me. It's never too late. I got on here and started a YouTube channel at 60, and I'm doing it. I'm doing the damn thing. And every single day I am on here, doing it constantly. And I just love it. I just love it. So I love seeing Bill's process here of his coloring and everything. I just love it so much. I love it so much. So let's see. Let me look down at the chat and see what's going on.
Maria, welcome. Welcome. And so what we got is, yes, positive energy, and everyone is very supportive here. And
yes.
yeah, there's nobody in the chat that or has come in that is in the average age of the YouTube user, which is like under the age of 16.
Right.
Everybody here is over the age of 16. I think I was looking at those stats the other day because I wanted to do a video on. I don't do very many long play videos on this channel because of when you do a lot of stuff and you have so much and the stuff I want to do and
yes.
backlog. I mean, like the oracle cards that I was need to make for Selena, and I still had, and I was like been in the process of doing that video for 2 weeks, but here it is. 2 weeks have gone by and I haven't done it yet, and but it's there. It's just right here. It's all right here.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is I was just thinking I wanted to say because you have a lot of like numbers and things on the whole like 333, and so you angel
yes.
numbers. So what role do angel numbers play in your spirituality?
Angel numbers for me, Bill, are everything for me. I mean, years ago, angel numbers, if I looked at the clock and it was an angel number, I would start to pray, say a prayer. I am a Catholic girl, born and bred, and my mother was born on 11/11. You can't get any more angel number than that. And so she has always been my angel, an earth angel, and now an angel around me. And that number has always been significant in my life. And when I get up in the morning, I used to set an alarm, and I would set an alarm for 10:10 in the morning, and 11:11 in the morning, and 12:12 in the afternoon, and so forth and so on, 1:11. And those times of the days is when I would sit and meditate, even if it was only for a couple of minutes or if it was for way longer than that, and always meditating and speaking to my ancestors and praying and thanking, spirit up above. And so angel numbers are very, very significant and play a big role in my life. When I wake up, like I said to you, 4:44 this morning, I had fallen asleep and I got up. I got up twice last night. Once was at 3:33, and actually I take that back. It was at 3:13. And then I got up at 3:30. Then I stayed up until 3:33. And I said my prayers and everything and spoke to my ancestors. And I just believe that at those times of angel numbers or whatever number is significant to you in your life, I feel like those numbers are when spirit hears you louder, or when your ancestors hear you louder. And I know that my ancestors, like I always say in my videos, gang gang, meaning that they're here for me. They're always here with me, surrounding me constantly. I feel them every single day. And I feel my mother, and especially the women who have gone before me in my life. I mean, from great, 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 great way back. I feel them and I know that they're here pushing me and they're rooting me on. And those angel numbers just signify for me, the love that they have for me and the love that I have for them. And it just makes me feel closer. So that's what the angel numbers do to me. And there's certain numbers that are so significant, like 1111. That was my mother's birthday, November 11th. And then also 333. My daughter was born on 3-3. I was 33 when I had her. My mother was 33 when she had me. Those numbers, those things are very significant and play a big role in my life. And I, not always, because growing up and whatnot, I had no clue. I had no clue until I got older and I really started paying attention. I started teaching faith formation when my daughter was studying to get her have her first holy communion and then her confirmation. And I started just having different epiphanies about different things, and angel numbers played a big role in my life. So yeah, so I love angel numbers.
I have like I I chose my channel name based upon angel numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
99 is never one I've actually ever seen. I was going when I was going to choosing the channel because the one I see all the time is either 333 or 444.
Yes.
Or you have one of those days where it's 1111, it's 111, 222, 333,
Mhm. Mhm.
4. Then it skips over 555, and then of course you never
Yes.
see 666. But then when I was keeping track of like numbers when I was actively counting calories and all kinds of stuff a few years ago, but I stopped doing that and I gained back every single pound that I ever lost plus some. And but nevertheless, that's a different story. We're not talking about that. So, but I had these days where all the numbers were adding up to like 888. So I'd be like scribbling all these numbers down, a big column of numbers, and they'd be this, and it was it's 888. Okay, that was 888 grams, or I don't know, whatever it was, because I was it was these, and then it was this. So then maybe I go play on one of my games, because I like to play slots on, apps. Then the score
Uh-huh.
was, oh, I have $888. But these they're credit dollars. They're not that, because I'm not spending money in a casino for monies that I don't have, and so it's like
Right.
you
Right.
get the same satisfaction by just playing those apps. But nevertheless, that was like some patterns, or it would be like, okay, um, I I check all these numbers that I would just write them down throughout the day. Every time I'd see an angel number, I'd write them down for that day, and then I'd do some card draws, and I add those numbers up, and then like, oh look, the numbers on the cards is this, and the sum of this is this, and there's the same number. It was having these synchronicities all over,
Yes.
and so yeah, and so when I chose this channel name, I really wanted it to be seven, because seven, being more of a God number. But then every YouTube channel that has like that's about spirituality and things like that is in the sevens, they were all part of the 700 club, and I didn't want that negative association with, because of how politics has hijacked the Christian faith. And I'm really talking about that this is true, and it's done, and how much it's hijacked it in this country, to where you know what I'm saying, is that you can,
Mhm. Mhm.
because not everybody has the same orthodoxy, but with a lot of people, it's like you maybe would mention that, and they think, oh, you're like one of these folks over here. Well, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are.
Right, exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's like it's become like these loaded terms that you can't even use these loaded terms because they of how much toxicity there is in our country today. But that was just another story. But what I'm saying is that's why it was never eight. That was why it was never 777.
So, and that's why you ended up on 999.
Yes, that's why.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Which is such a good number, Bill, because 999 is, what goes around comes around. And 999 means success and wealth and so many things. I mean, it could be associated with finances and balance and different things.
yeah. And then
So,
if you run that whole you look at the book of Revelations like it was applied to an individual spiritual journey
yes.
in your transformation. And so the 666 being the number of the body, and then to flip it over, 999, the number of God.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Indeed.
that um I've never really thought about that book as far as prophecy. Of course, in younger years, I was scared to death by it because you grew up in the church and you get scared to death by they scare you to death with these things of these ideas of hell and shame and all this, and
Right. Right.
and it takes you a lifetime to get over that stuff, and then you have to go on faith that whatever you're doing right now is the right thing to,
Thing. Yes.
and that
Yes.
what you're doing is giving God pleasure, which I like that line from Chariots of Fire, Chariots of the
So,
Fire.
hmm I
I
love
love that.
that movie,
I
Chariots
love,
of Fire.
love that movie. I saw it when I was a kid, and
Yes.
when he says, when I run, I feel God's pleasure.
Yes.
And it's like, oh yeah, I know what that is like. When I do art, I feel God's pleasure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes when I do the tarot, sometimes I feel God's pleasure. I feel God's pleasure when I am outside mowing the lawn. Maybe the grass doesn't feel God's pleasure because I just ground it up. But nevertheless, um,
I'm
yeah,
sure it does.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so Sharon, welcome. Oh, and Heather Johnson is here. Here, welcome.
Oh, welcome, Heather.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, how do you like the sky so far?
I love the sky. I love those colors. Those are my colors. And I just love that so much.
Yeah, I know that you said that we had no yellow, but I decided that it needed to have a little bit of light up here, and I'm getting some ideas of what I want to do for the finishing touches. But
I love it so far, Bill.
what do you want this guy to be like? What do you want him? What colors do you want him to be?
That's a good question. I think he should be like a royal blue or a royal purple or something like that.
Something that's going to stand out from the background. Okay, let's go through my little booklet of colors. What was that? Oh, that was my radiant. So we have of a darker color like this.
Oh, I love that color.
Yeah, and then let's say we have this one is a bit more bluish, but we'll kind of layer in the colors all together.
Okay. I
And
love
so
those.
let's add another one like this. And let me go
Yes.
find you might do a more of a bluer tone here, like this lighter bluer tone.
I love it.
And my intuition is telling me it needs to be one of these grays as well. So,
Yes. Beautiful, Bill.
and
I love
maybe
all those colors. I love them.
and maybe just a touch of green.
Oh, and green. Yes.
Just a touch. I mean, so and we'll just see
Yes.
what happens here, I'm hitting the camera again, and so yeah, so we got the angel numbers and all of that. So we have a lot of commonality, Alexi, with
We
the
do.
angel numbers in the Catholic. Now, I wasn't born in the Catholic Church. I became a Catholic when I was like 27 after journeying to Israel.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing, Bill.
yeah. Well, I did study in college. I studied mathematics and religion.
Yes.
And so when I graduated, and my religious study professor asked if I wanted to go to Israel because they were going in the January term right after after graduation. And I said, well, I've already. And then he said, well, we're doing the Old Testament in the Holy Land. He said, well, I've already took that class. I said, I know, and I just got done doing all this schooling. I don't want to take any more schooling. I know you. I know, Bill, but why don't you come as a tourist? Like my wife is coming. She's coming as a tourist. All you have to do is, you don't have to take any of the classes or do anything like that. You don't have to do any stuff. All you have to do is come. Just come. And I said,
That's amazing.
so at first I said no, but then because I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. But then
Right.
and then like a week after I graduated, I was opening up the classified because this was before internet and everything,
Yes.
and I saw one of the ads on there. It seemed like it was just like a whole big page, it was just glaring, this big huge sign, and it was firefighting, wildland firefighting, and I called the number and I started taking classes and I did it, and then it was about, like after about a month, I had almost I started having I was like I got them, I can go to Israel.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like in a fire camp, and I was in Washington State. I was in Washington State in the Yakima because I spent almost a month in Yakima in those mountains in there, and I was up there in those mountains, and there was like one phone for calling out on this a landline that they had set up, and you had to wait in line, and so I called my professor and I says, yes, I want to go.
Yes.
Can I still go? And he says, yes, you can. And so, and then that started the process of doing that. And then immediately the very next day, I started having visions.
Wow.
And these spiritual visions and things, but what if I just step back to that little ad that said firefighting?
Yes.
The smallest ad on the page.
Wow. And look
And
at that.
yeah, in my mind, it
That's
seemed like it was the largest ad on the page.
yes.
Like, you know,
Yes. Wow, Bill. That's just amazing. And look how that manifested.
it manifested in that I started writing poetry that year as well, and it came flooding out of me. It came flooding out of me like almost like automatic writing or something like that. Now, granted, the poetry isn't any good. I mean, I look at it, I think, well, maybe I'll share it. And I look at, oh no, no, I can't do it. It's like looking over your early videos and thinking, oh, I don't know, I don't think so. But maybe someday. Anyway,
Yes.
but that started it. It was like this kicker. It started the journey, or you look at like the Power of Myth. You can watch the Power of Myth. All of those videos are uploaded onto YouTube, and it gives you, if you need a place to get some perspective about your religious tradition, if it's
Mhm.
just within one of the mainline ones, if it's your, if you're Hindu, or you are Judeo-Christian,
Mhm.
you are Muslim, or I think he goes like over the big five world religions, and he's going into the mythologies, and he goes into that stuff, and then you see all the similarities that there are between these paths, and then but then it's like in it there's always some kind of a kicker story that kicks the adventure going. And
Wow.
so like in the in the Judeo-Christian sense, it's that Adam and Eve are in the garden, they eat this apple or whatever it is, and then they get kicked out into the world, and this is the beginning of the journey. The
Mm.
beginning of the journey begins there, or whatever you're.
Right, right.
So rather than looking at as that this is some big punishment, this is the start of the journey. And then if we look at
Yes.
you look at the whole um, fool's journey, and with this oracle, which is a very it's funny because I had wanted the golden art nouveau, and Jeff Tarot asked backward had uh, it was on my wish list for just a moment, and I realized it was just Trump's only, but he saw it as that, and he said, I don't know why Bill wants just a deck that's just Trump's only, but anyway, I had taken it out off really fast, and then but then I was here and I think, oh my God, this is just of itself of using this as a means to where are you at?
Yes.
Where are you at in your journey? And so if you're using this is you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do your card draw, and you see what is before you and what is after you. You can see where you are at on that journey. And so you look at the tarot as like a more, maybe you could maybe see it as more of a modern day mythology, because these mythological narratives are always being written all the time. It's a matter of,
Yes.
are we choosing um, to allow ourselves to be open to the fact that the story is continually being written, which is, I mean, that's another issue of where I think the church and all these big religions have hamstringed themselves, is because they've closed the door to those new stories to be written,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stories that exist. And so we're just going to go in and we're going to see. This is for Lexi. We'll see where Lexi is at on her journey right now. And just think about that. I generally don't multitask this stuff like this, because doing art and doing,
Yeah, Bill, you're doing it today.
they are, we'll just see how things are. And yes, it is a very beautiful deck. And so what we're looking for, that where the fool is, and what's before and what's after it. And so what you got is you got the devil before you, and you got the
The
hangman.
hangman.
So looking into two different perspectives, and then you're in between, looking at your life in a different perspective, and then
Mm-hmm.
into your shadow self.
Yes, I love that. Well, I love the Fool card because I mean that's new beginnings, and I'm
Well, hold on.
having new beginnings right now, basically.
You are, but this, in this sense, this is where the fool is in this trek, on this journey. So you're not in a new, you're in this oracle, and using this oracle in this manner, you are gauging where you're at along the
Right,
between
right,
where the fool,
right,
what you're starting with. The magician is the beginning point, and the world is the end point, and then
right.
that's the cycle. And so
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
so anyway,
yeah.
if but that's just in a way of using that. And I'm being careful to make sure that I don't show the nudity, because this deck is a nudie deck. So uh,
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
All right. Anyway, there we go.
Well,
So that was,
I like how that came out. You know, let's see. I got to think of my story as how that is. I mean, like in the we've got the fool in the middle there, but the hangman, of course, is like surrendering.
yeah.
And surrendering for me would have been surrendering. I'm on this weight loss journey. I've lost over 120 pounds.
Mhm.
And so that was a big surrender for me, to get my health together and get my life right and change my lifestyle. And so then going into from there, going into the fool card, which would be the new lifestyle for me. So surrendering the old and coming into where I am now, in this place where I am, where I know I'm never going back to being over 300 pounds ever in my life again. Right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm never going to ever do that again. That's where I guess, you know, the food comes in there for me. And then, the devil is all about your vices and things like that too. I mean, can be.
It can.
And I've let go of a lot of vices. I've let go of all the bad things that I used to put into my body and not
Mhm.
taking care of myself and basically liberating myself. So instead of being unhealthy, as the devil would be, I'm becoming more healthy now. So
Mhm.
I love that story. I like the story that these cards make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the shadow work is, I've done the shadow work. And that's what the devil is all about too, that shadow. And
Mhm.
yeah. And so I've come out of that. I've come out of being 321 plus pounds to now almost being under 200 pounds and
Mhm.
very close, and to getting my life together at almost 61 years old and doing this as an older person when everybody says, oh, you can't do these things when you're older, but I can do them and I am doing them and I can do hard things.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I like that, Bill. I love that. I love that story of that those cards make. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So it's just that if you think of it of like in this mythological journey or the power of myth of being able to gauge yourself of where you're at, and that the stories
Yes.
are there to guide you to be a guide on your journey here, not and they're not there to punish, but they're there to guide. And then
Yes.
within that context of that story, the devil is there
Hmm.
to show you where the shadows are at.
Yes.
To show
Yes,
you,
exactly.
or if you want
Exactly.
to show you where the minefield is at, where you
Yes.
need where all these things are that could be triggering you, and to show you that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, to give me that, the devil was, to give me that freedom from the addiction of the bad things, right? I mean, I never have had an addiction to drugs or alcohol, cigarettes, things like that. Never. Food has always been an addiction for me because it's something that I can control. But also, food is something that we need to live.
yes.
So it's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery
Mhm.
slope. But I feel like with that devil card, basically, that devil card is telling me, you know, I'm like on the cusp of my breakthrough right now.
Yeah, she better walk.
My breakthrough. Yeah, on the change. Big changes, big shifts. There's a big shift coming in my life. I mean, it's already happening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, what I'm getting right now here is what was that story? Was it with one of Abraham's kids and the many colors? The cloak with the
Oh, the
many.
coat of many colors.
Well, this is what I'm getting with your guys. Um, work here.
Yes,
I just want,
Joseph and the coat of many colors.
yes, that's what I'm getting right now. Does that does that have any significance to you?
It yes, it does. One thing, nothing to do with Joseph, of course, but growing up for me, I mean, I've always been that person who I'm outside of the box always. I'm not a rule follower. I've never been one. I am a rule breaker and I'm a rebel. And I love colors and bright things and mixed metals and different things. And I love a tie dye with a polka dot or with something different. And I love those colors. I love bright colors and bright things. And
Mm.
so that I love. I love that because I love my world is in technicolor, as they say. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not somebody who I only wear black because it's slimming or, I don't have those kind of hangups.
yeah.
So, yeah. So I love that. I love that. I love that coat of many colors. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's what we I got for you here is this coat of many colors.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving along here. What color do you want the guy's skin to be? Now, have done now in this coloring book, and I'm not really trying to direct too much. I've had, you know, some regular colors, but then there's
Hmm.
the strength card with
Here's my card.
like the blue skin or something like that, and
Yes.
energy and whims of
Um,
yeah. And Maria, welcome.
yes.
Or let's say when I did my fool, I did with like a silvery colors. And so,
Hmm.
what color would you like its skin to be? Maybe you want it gold or something like that.
The gold to be really good. I do like that.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. I got a gold here. All right. So yeah. So we got. And then so what else? We have the angel numbers and the significance of angel numbers and mythologies and that was something else I was thinking about, and it was a movie that I only saw it once because it was so painful to watch. I couldn't watch it a second time. But
What movie was that?
oh, it was about one of those. It was about a trial. I don't know if it was based in real. It was based in reality. I don't know how real it was, but it was
Mhm.
of it was during America's dark history of slavery and a trial and where this guy had been kidnapped out of Africa and brought to I don't remember the name of the movie of it. And then
Was
but
it
he's
Roots?
no, it was not Roots, it was another one. It came out in like in the 90s.
Hmm.
Yeah, he came in at night. And so the guy's standing there, and he sees the pictures in the Bible and give me freedom, freedom. But then it's that
Yes.
I stand here, and so it's like John Quincy Adams was defending his trial and doing the trial to the Supreme Court, and the guy is telling his stories that I stand here and
Oh,
all of my ancestors live, you know, sorry, it's, it's just that
it's okay, Bill.
I wasn't expecting that response, but As I
Yeah,
said,
it's okay.
my ancestors come alive in me, going back to the beginning of time.
Wow. I don't know what that movie is. Um, but wow.
I don't know. I can't remember what it was. I'll probably remember it later, but welcome there. I could probably. Well, I would have to. I don't want to. I would become into some obsession here, looking for this thing, and
Yeah, so we'll move on. Let's move on to something else. And if it pops up, we'll talk about it.
yeah. What was that? Anyway, well, that's fine. Let's
Do
go
you
to.
mind if I say hi to people in the chat?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say hi because I haven't said hi to um Maria. Hi Maria. And Janet. Hi Janet Lee G. Hey Moon Scarab. Ramon is here.
Yes.
Ramon posted a beautiful picture today, his baby picture for his birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, Ramon. So cute. The cutest baby ever. So
Yeah.
adorable. Yeah. So Ramon is a Gemini.
Gemini.
And, and he's a Gemini.
Hmm.
So yeah. I thought it was just so sweet. And the hair, because of course, Ramon has the most beautiful hair. And that baby picture, Ramon had the most beautiful hair too.
Hmm.
Yes, Selena, Ramon, the baby boy. You're welcome, Ramon. So sweet. That picture was just so sweet. I really loved that picture so much. I really did. I love baby pictures. And I
Hmm.
love to see all of us adults when we were babies. You know, it's like so innocent, the innocent time of us, you know, before we become who we are now. And I just love that. I just love that so much.
Well, I need to
So,
go to
yes.
your sky here. I
Oh, I
think
love
a
that,
little bit
Bill.
more complexity and depth to it. So, yeah, and like as I was said before, I turned the live on. I was telling Alexi that uh, my second niece had a baby boy today. Of course, it came
Yes.
C-section, but then but it did come. She wanted it to come about a month ago because she's been miserable for the last month, and but yeah. Anyways, but that's nevertheless that's how it is. You come into
Yes.
the world
Yes.
from a woman who's been who's miserable for the last month of your gestation period, and then you
Yes.
to
Yes.
get that out of
That's a
there.
hard thing, you know.
Mm,
When my mother was having me, I wanted to be here so badly that I came 2 months early.
mm,
And back then in 1964, that was a scary thing. And my mother had me 2 months early, and I only weighed 3 pounds.
yeah.
And
Mm,
so, yeah, having a baby, you know, that's also something I talked about in my video today. It's like it's never linear. You know, some mothers can have these babies and they just bounce back and everything is amazing. And then some people just have, there's a difficulty to bringing that little precious life into the world, you know. And so yeah, it's not easy, but I'm so grateful, Bill, that your niece had her baby, and you know, hopefully with not many complications at this point. And so now her baby is here.
well, she works as an urgent care nurse, and and yeah. So where are we at? We are at the staves. What color do you want the staves to be?
Maybe like a sepia tone, like a sepia brownish tone, maybe.
Brown. Okay. Brown. All right. I will not say what goes on my head every time I hear brown. I think of I think of something like some California water saving kind of a thing.
Hmm.
No, well, during the yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I like that bill.
All right, great. So we got some brown going on.
I love it.
So you have your daily videos and
Yes.
your journey and you're kind of venturing. So with your Catholic so do you still go to mass, or have you like not
No, I have
have you,
not gone to
have you left?
mass. It's
Have
been a
you
few
left?
years since I've gone to mass.
Yeah,
Now, I used to watch mass still every Sunday morning. It comes on TV and I watch it. It's been a few months though since I've watched it. But
yeah.
even with mass, even with that, my Catholic faith, I will always have my faith. I still believe in these cards. I still believe in the tarot and the oracle, and I love the cards. And I have found, and I my pendulum and all my crystals and things that I have, and I really find that the cards just never lie. They just never lie, and I love that. I love that. And I still have my faith. I still pray. Saint Anthony is my patron saint, who I love. It was my mother's saint. I pray to Saint Anthony every day about everything. But I still like the tarot and I love the cards. And I just love that. I feel like there's enough room for everything. There's enough room for me to have my Catholic upbringing, and but there's enough room for me to also love the tarot and love the oracle and love this world of divination. I just love divination.
Yeah, because it comes in I think it comes in, like, in Corinthians, they talk about the gifts of the Spirit, and it's like of like kind of in that prophecy, or but prophecy is not necessarily about revealing future things, because it can also be about revealing things of the past and
Yes,
uncovering truth of the present and the past. And
exactly.
so in that sense, so the movie was Amistad.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
I know the actor in that, Jaimin Hunsu. I have
yeah,
never watched that movie.
yeah. I like watched it once, and there was so much. I
Yeah, and
remember
that was a Oscar award winning movie that year.
I might have watched it more than once, but there's like scenes in it that are like really traumatic to watch.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm
Mm.
sure. Yeah, I have not watched Amistad, and I can't even imagine. In my head, I have not watched it, but I generally know some parts of the story. And that terrible boat that they were all on, and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yes, yes.
Because I was
Hmm.
trying to recall those images, but it was just really it was kind of choking up there because
Yes, yes, yes. No, it's a pain. It's a pain. It's very painful, and
yeah,
it's very painful for me too as a black woman. All the things that have happened to us for centuries. Very painful. Very painful.
well,
And
and
in 2025, how we have still not evolved in
no,
some ways.
maybe we haven't, because of the sins of humanity, which like I said, exist in all of us, and um, wanting to get
Yes.
something, wanting to take advantage of somebody else to enrich yourself is one of those sins that we have. And if we look at, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
these evil wealthy people, but then you look at, well,
Yes.
I think it was Anthony Scaramucci who talked a little bit about, I kind of, these people, like, he talked about the sins of the wealthy, but what happens when they start to get wealthy, like really super wealthy, is that they just about everybody loses their empathy. And not
Oh,
only
yes.
they lose their empathy because you don't know, because people start coming to you asking for money, and you don't want to give that up. And so in coming into a place of being guarded all the time, because you have always have these people coming and asking you for something, and then you feel you're on guard all the time, and then you get paranoid, and you get and so what happens to people when they get too much wealth is they go crazy.
They
And
do.
it's like
That is very true.
unless of course they've had it in their life for generations, and then but then maybe I don't know, but you don't know about that because you see there you have all those the crazy stuff that people do, and you hear about it,
Hmm.
and it's like, well, or maybe ordinary people might do some of that, but maybe ordinary people don't because either I don't know, but it's something that the stuff that happens, and
Right. Right.
anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the people who use their money for good and who do good things in the community, and that I find that that's beautiful. Not everybody who has money, like you said, has empathy. A
Mhm.
lot of times they don't. And it's all about me, meaning them. And so yeah, yeah.
Well, and that's why we and that's I'm not talking politics here, but I'm just speaking my mind, and that is why that as a civilization, we can, if we want to, um, we can decide these things. Like we could decide that, oh well, maybe people shouldn't be allowed to amass that much wealth because their mental health suffers
Mm,
because of that. But then at the
yeah.
same time, we shouldn't allow people to become so poor.
This is so true. And I mean, we all learned that during the pandemonium and all of that happened in 2020. You
Mhm.
learned really quickly then who were the haves and who were the have-nots.
Yeah.
And
And
you would think that that time would have made things better, and it really didn't. It really didn't, unfortunately. Fatima says, how can humans treat each other so horrible that it's so sad? And it's very sad. It's very sad. But those people, regardless of everything that they have and how they treat other people and whatnot, it's not going to end well for them. Let's just say
yeah.
that. And we know, us people, Fatima, we know that we would not ever treat anybody that way. We have our empathy. I'm a really, I am a big component of being empathetic to everybody, and everybody's plight. I mean, we are all different, and we have all been brought up differently. Everybody's unique, everybody's different, we all are on our own journey. And but when you get to that point where you're selfish and greedy and all of that, that's just not a good look. It's just not a good look for anybody. It's
But
really not.
during the Floyd thing, this is what I painted, and this is a mask that I
Oh,
painted.
wow.
This is the energy that I felt, and but
Yes.
also, if I might add, that during that time period, I was that was before I started seeing the angel numbers, and I was still, and I was so after my dad had passed away, and then I was like working in a casino, and I got out of the habit of going to church at all or anything like that, and so and then
Yes.
went into the totally different world, and I don't think that I ever stopped saying my prayers at night,
Hmm.
but it was very much more subdued, and so there was like a reawakening that had occurred after 2020, and this is one of those things that I don't know if this is probably part of the process, but this is something that I had felt of that
Yes.
all of that ugliness that was happening and coming out during that time period.
Yes.
And that-
Yes.
and this is something I had painted a mask because I had quite.
Wow, yes, Bill.
Yeah.
That yeah, that's beautiful. That that like you said, that energy, that you felt. I can't even imagine. I mean, I can't imagine. Um Imagining, this is something that most people don't have to deal with, right? As a black woman, I have never been in those spots, thank God. But I worry about my child, about my daughter, and I worry about myself that one day I'll be out and somebody's going to pull me over and something's going to happen to me. And these are the things that we have to worry about. And, as a European or a Caucasian, you really don't have to worry about those things. But those are the things that we have to worry about as Black people, being marginalized and always being put down. And
Hmm.
it's scary. It's very scary. I am an educated black woman. I have my master's degree. I am educated, and I hate this word. I'm going to use it here, but I hate the word articulate. When somebody says, "Oh, you speak so articulate and you're so this and you're so that." And I really can't stand that, because why is that? Because I'm black.
Yeah.
That, and these are the conversations. These are real conversations. And
Hmm.
so that whole George Floyd situation, it was very, very sad, and it didn't need to happen. And it was somebody abusing their power. It was
Yes.
the abuse. It was the abuse of power, and it's unfortunate how I don't see anybody. I don't. I'm not going to use that term. I don't see color, because of course I see color. We're all different,
Hmm.
but I never go out of my way to make somebody feel unseen or to make somebody feel less than. And I feel like if we as a people did more of that, we don't try to get to know people. We don't try and get to know what somebody else is dealing with and what somebody else has been through or is going through. And that just, makes people, um, I don't know what's the term I want to use there, but it's sad. It's sad. So I really appreciate you showing that and showing that mask, because that was a very, very sad time.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for his little girl. She knew that was her daddy, and that's it. She didn't know anything else about him. She didn't know, and so many bad things came out after the fact that I feel like was irrelevant. The man was dead
Hmm.
at that point. It was irrelevant. And so yeah, but
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, and hopefully as a society, we can grow. And that's why I love this tarot tube community. And I love the people here. Everybody here has embraced me. And I have embraced everyone here. I love everybody here. There are people here from all walks of life, people here from all different countries and places, people here of all colors and origins and everything. And we all come together and support each other, like in the chats. We all follow each other and go to each other's chats and support each other and love on each other. And I love this community. I really love this community. And I mean, and we have some bad eggs in this community. We have some people who come in and do certain things and say things that really has no business in a chat.
Hmm.
Um, but for the most part, everybody here is loving and supportive, and I feel like we need more of that.
Yeah. 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 Because I grew up in where I grew up and where I live now is a spot where the West Coast a West Coast Trail of Tears. It was a destination spot for a West Coast Trail of Tears
Wow.
in the 1860s. And so
Yes.
23 there were 23 tribes that were forced marched to this area from Northern California up to like almost like I think like almost up to like Centralia in Washington.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and mostly on just the West Coast, not in the West Coast. I mean, on the western side of the Cascades.
Yes.
And so within, I don't know, a few years or so, 10 of those tribes migrated back into their home areas and so forth. But in so when I in the 80s, when I was a kid, I think it was like, what is it? Oregon was like 90% white, because Oregon was one of those states that almost became a Confederate state. It was just a hairline fracture vote away from becoming a Confederate state. And so, like for instance, the one of the towns nearby, McMinnville, it was a plant from McMinnville, Tennessee, and it was the capital of the KKK for the whole West Coast, pretty much.
Mm.
And so there was all that energy here. There was this, and so the people who came out west, of course, they were from all over the east that came across on the Oregon Trail, but nevertheless,
Yes.
the diversity in Oregon is not an extremely diverse state. Now, there's like, I think right now it's like it's 60-70% white people, and then there's everyone else. And but in this area where I grew up, the police do profile people, but they profile people based on the age of your car.
Oh my goodness.
And so they pull over, so I don't know how many times, because I drive old cars. How many times I've gotten pulled over for some dumb thing, but then once the officer comes up and looks at it and you say, "Oh yeah, okay, you're not an Indian, and so therefore it's that white privilege." And I realize there's that
Yes.
privilege because of the fact that, yeah, oh, you're okay, you're driving an old car. Like the wealthiest landowner in this area is a farmer, and he drives old cars. His
Right.
The car that he drove was like brand new in 1978, and he you can see the ground when you ride in his car. You can see the ground right through the floor. It's like
Right. Right.
he's land rich and money poor.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but
Yes.
and so I don't know if he gets pulled over anymore. I doubt it, because but they kind of know that, but that's how this whole profiling thing happens. And then what, and then when I worked at the casino there, because I worked at their casino, for the tribe down in this area. And some of, like, coworkers, they were, when they're like in their 20s, and they've been arrested multiple times for not having a driver's license. And why don't
Wow.
they just keep on driving, just keep on, well, I just, and so, but then they drive newer cars, and then
Right.
you don't get caught, but if
Right.
you with
Right.
older cars, you get caught. And so that's how, in this area, why, I mean, there's so many people who don't have driver's licenses, because they've been permanently banned from driving by the state for driving without a driver's license, or for whatever reason. And you drive old cars or whatever, but they still drive. you know Anyways, I don't know
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. I was just talking here. And
Right. Right. Well, it does. Yeah. That's very interesting.
um,
Very interesting.
yeah.
Yes. Wow.
So I've
It's
kind of moved on to
yes, I see. It's looking
Florida. And
so good. Looking so good.
yeah. And so all these things about life that are these unfortunate things, and that happen.
Yes.
Now let me see if I can get some really bright green here. Uh,
Mama Sushi has entered the chat. Hi, Mama Sushi.
oh, I was actually completely wrong last night when I had Under the Marigold Veil, and I said that she was the first West. No, no, Mama Sushi was the first West Coast person I had.
That you had on your show.
Yeah, I completely, because I guess I'm starting to be like with my writing, and I have written so much stuff that I can't remember what I've done. Now I've done so many of these shows that I have quite
Yes.
remember. I'm not keeping track, mentally.
Yes. That was a
Everything.
good show last night too. I didn't stay for the whole thing, but it was really good.
Yeah, yeah,
It
that's
was
what.
really good.
All right, so we are
Ah,
almost
Mama
done.
Sushi said she was going to comment that she was the first.
I know.
She
And
didn't
I
want
did.
to be she didn't want to be snooty. You should have been snooty, Mama Sushi.
Yeah, yeah, you said that. Yeah, that's it. I had forgotten. I really apologize. And I was like, had forgotten.
You gotta let Bill know, Mama Sushi.
Yeah, because I'm getting old, and my memory doesn't always work that well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what color is the ground that he's on?
Um, I think the ground should be different colors, like orange and green and
Okay,
gold.
let's go. I'll go first with that gold pencil, and then we'll go in from there, and I'll add in some other colors on top. Yeah.
Okay.
So how has it your experience been so far here on my on the
Oh,
show?
it has been lovely, Bill. So lovely. Yeah, it has been so lovely. I've seen everybody who I love be on your show, and people that I don't know be on your show that I have been introduced to. And it's a beautiful experience, and I love it.
Mhm. Well, I'm glad because this has been quite illuminating too. It's the with your journey and where you've been, and then just how many similarities there are. We have the angel numbers, and well,
Yes.
the I do have until proven otherwise, I would probably say that with the exception of like Care Bear, Bar of the Cards, and Moon Scarab, just about everybody has come out of the Catholic faith to come into tarot.
Yes. Yes.
And 'cause I kind of I know that these images are all from the Eastern Church, but
Mm-hmm.
the Latin Church, they later brought the icons in the images in. I guess they couldn't just shut them out, but nevertheless, that's the way that was,
Yes.
and that so with that, and then how the folk arts were incorporated within, because when they would go through and go through and colonize a new area or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you brought the religion in, and of course,
Yes.
sometimes there's good things that happen, but mostly a lot of abuses at first.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the then the people who were many people then reincorporating their religion back into their faith. So you wouldn't have the Mary of Guadalupe, because Mary of Guadalupe is um it is a Latin
Yes.
American image, and
Yes.
it is not a Westerner image. And I think I have a Mary of Guadalupe there
Yes.
in that card, and so it's not a, and so this is the face and everything in here is not a face of a European uh,
No.
interpretation of what Mary looks like,
Right. Exactly.
and so you have a lot of these elements and things that is it has it's that incorporation of.
Oh yeah, because everything is made to look better. Everything is made to look European and to look white and to look, different, to be more
Mm,
accepting, I believe, right?
yeah.
And Guadalupe, we've had Guadalupe around here, the candles and everything forever. My mother's Puerto Rican.
Hmm.
And, my grandfather was Pedro Morales from Santurce, Puerto Rico. All of that.
Yeah,
Nothing in my mind ever looks white.
yeah, yeah.
But, that's how it is for, you know, what do I want to say? Commercial sake,
Hmm.
right? Commercialism. Everything is meant to look that way. So
Yeah.
yes, yes,
So you have the incorporations of the mythologies from they get incorporated in there, and yeah, and so that which is kind of how it's been, and so
yes, yes,
that's why I can that's in my mind why I think it might be easier. It's an easier step to take, and so like for Ramon, but then Ramon came out of yes, he came from Puerto Rico, and
yes.
then he came out of the Pentecostal, and of course the Pentecostal. I don't really know too much about that, but
Right about the Pentecostal. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I could see how coming out of there, but then I can also see how it would be really a difficult step. And where if you look at, let's say, Care Bear Bar the Cars, Karen, she came out of the Southern Baptist tradition.
Right, right,
That to me
right,
seems like it might be really difficult that
right.
it's been a real difficult journey for her.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I've never had a different. My mother was devout Catholic. My mother was born and raised Catholic. And whenever I say that, when we moved here to the South, to North Carolina, and people would say, "Oh, what church do you go to? So and so Baptist and blah." And I'm like, "No, I'm Catholic." And they would
Mhm,
look at me so strange, like, "You're black." And I'm like, "Okay." And
mhm,
yes, I know I am black, but I am
mhm,
Catholic, born and raised. All of my family has been Catholic for centuries. And
yeah,
and that's just how I was raised. And I still, regardless of my angel numbers and the oracle and the tarot and my crystals and all my stuff, I'm still that Catholic girl at heart. I mean, I'm still that Catholic girl. I have
yeah,
my holy water sitting right here next to me. I wish Miss Tarot D was here. I got this holy water from the Bronx, from the grotto in the Bronx. My aunt sent it to me. I am from the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx, and I grew up in the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, and I'm Catholic. That's where I had my first Holy Communion, and
mhm,
so I never think of these as separate entities. I never think of, oh my God, God is gonna come down and strike you dead and blah 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 blah. The devil, you go into the devil because you like tarot and the oracle and whatever. No, I mean, I have my faith, I light my candles, I have my statue of Mary here. I have my St. Anthony everywhere. Right here next to me, well, I can't even get to it right now, but right here next to me are my rosary beads.
yeah.
I still say my rosary.
Mhm,
I mean, here they go. Here's some rosary beads that I have here. And I still say my rosary. I mean, I do my prayers, and I have my book here on my table where I film my Catholic devotions and customs. And
yeah.
this book is always here with me. So I am I'm Catholic girl through and through, Bill. But I'm still with my oracle and, and my tarot and my crystals and my pendulum and all the things, right? And all the
Mhm.
things. Oh, Janet, yes. Janet was saying that Lexi has also been neighbor to some of us in this community, and I have. She used to live near the big mall. Yes, I did in Phoenix, Metro Center Mall, right across the street from Castles and Coasters is where I lived for 8 years. And we probably did cross paths, Janet. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt that at all. So yeah, and Lila, Tapestry of the Unseen, she's from Phoenix also. And so I'm sure I have crossed paths with so many people. There's so many. I've lived in so many places.
Well,
But you,
I had an opportunity because I lived in Seattle from 2003 to 2011, and I sang in a Black Catholic gospel choir.
Did you?
I did for about um, yeah, 7 years, 7 years,
Wow.
and
Now
yeah,
that's amazing. That's nice, Bill. Now the cat. Now that's something I have to say. I don't mean to cut you off, but in the Virgin Islands, Catholic Church is a totally different thing from here in the States. Catholic
mhm,
Church is very, we have our music and the band is playing, and I mean it's all things, right? People are speaking in tongues, it's all that. Here the Catholic Church is very, very prim and proper. They don't
yes.
get down like that here in the Catholic Church. I miss that. I miss that.
So I have a recording of when I was singing in the men's choir. We were going into Belltown in Seattle, and we were singing once a month. We'd go into this a men. It was a men's center, I think, for people recovering from substance abuse. And I have a recording of that session, and with the choir leader going into a long, protracted uh, black gospel sermon. And
Wow.
he wasn't one, but his boy, I think he was the deacon. He was the deacon, but his boy was extremely musically talented and um and he was working, I think, in Japan, doing like the equivalent of like Broadway singing and so forth like that. But his boy was could do like high baritone, all the parts all the way up into like soprano. And so
Wow.
like five different, I think it was like what we get, like high baritone, could, the tenor, the alto, and and the soprano, and I think that was it. And so he was doing all to do all those parts as far as like in instructing
Hmm.
what it's supposed to sound like, because we didn't go by word. We went by by with the sound, the sound, because I don't think anybody there could read music at all. I mean, a few of the people could. The choir director, she was like, I think she tried to get on like American Idol or something like that a few times,
Right, right.
and she was actually exactly my age. And then we had like they used the Hammond organ, and then like we had like some field trips once, and we went into one of those charismatic a black charismatic church, and it was in a like a manufactured home, and I was just stunned by the clothes that people wore, and like the mirror shoes and the and then the amount of the foot stomping, and everything was so much. It was like
Yes, yes.
an earthquake was passing through this place. And so yeah, um, that was an experience that I feel so blessed to have had, and to have that, and to journey in that capacity. And
Yes, yes, yes. And I love that charismatic. I love that. Janet says that it sounds like the church embraced being spirit filled. Yes, yes,
yeah,
indeed, indeed.
I
I
have
feel like the churches here are a little mundane. You don't get that so much here per
yeah,
se.
you don't
In the
get
Catholic Church.
you don't get it in Oregon either, because they use that Breaking Bread hymnal, which I hate that hymnal.
Yes,
I don't like the hymnal that they choose, and it's simple. Everyone, it's standard, and
yes, yes.
and then it's like, oh, they put a guitar in the church, and I think it's usually just like one person playing guitar, and I'm thinking,
Right. Or
it's
one
like,
person playing the organ or piano, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless it's
And
during the holiday when they play the bells.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But it's like, okay. And then I went to that. I was Immaculate Conception. I went to that church, and then I went to the Cathedral Parish, and then they had a full choir, and they had the pipe organ, and then and everything else, and so it was this that whole 8 years was for me. I was going to mass 6 times a week.
Wow.
Twice on Sunday, but it was like this time, but I was also doing other things because it was just like it was not I was doing it was like this it was all this I was like it was like going to the buffet. It was going to the buffet and all those different choices, and then occasionally I go to an Orthodox church or something like that. And then occasionally I would go across town and go to a pre-Vatican II church. And then to get that Latin, and then but then but then I would try not to talk to people, because once they start talking to people, they might start asking you questions, and I don't really want to answer any questions, because then they'll know that I'm not on the level, you know. You're not on the level because you're not there, and then or you go to a Byzantine Catholic church, and it's got different flavors, and but and so like today, I mean, my mom is I grew up in a Lutheran church, and I it's with her health, it's we don't exactly go into the church, it's on Zoom. And so I turn the Zoom on, and half the time I'm not paying attention, and so forth. But that's just the way it is, and then so I added this little touch of putting a yellow aura around your little guy, and that was kind of like the final touches that I wanted to do on here. I think I might have another one of these colors, which I think I might go over with a
So beautiful.
this fluorescent color. To go over the leaves, so it gives it a little more of a greenish tone.
Okay.
And
I love
yeah,
that.
church. Yeah. So well, I know,
Yes, yes.
like I said earlier, when you start talking about church or Christianity, because of how the American politics has hijacked that word Christian. That is like you can't really, that's
Right.
that's the way I see it. I see it that it's been hijacked, and even more so than it was like even like 20, 30 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I agree.
I can remember a time when I was like, is it Lutheran? And then I was like talking to like some neighbors they were Pentecostal or something like that. And I said, yeah, I was, they knew that I was like exploring other things. And, well, why don't you come to my church? And I says, no, I'm going to the Catholic church. And it's like, oh, I thought you were going to get saved or something like that, and instead you're going from you're going from one Satan church to another Satan church,
Right, right.
And so it's like, no, and
Yeah. Well, everybody thinks their religion is the best religion and theirs is the only religion and theirs is this and theirs is that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
And growing up with my mother being, really devout Catholic, but I went to every church. She allowed me to go with all my friends on Sundays to wherever they went to church. She never stopped me from doing that. I always knew that I was Catholic and I was going to be Catholic. I wanted to be Catholic. So that was never a problem for me. I wasn't worried about going to somebody's church and having them, try to save me, so to speak, or
yeah,
anything like that. But I have always experienced. I mean, I've been to Christian Science and I've done Seder, Passover Seder, and I mean, I've been to it all. I've done it all. I've done Ramadan and everything. I've participated in so many things, but at the end of the day, I am a Catholic woman and who practices the tarot and the oracle and everything else.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, that's just it. It's in me. And no, I don't go to church anymore. My daughter doesn't go anymore. But I have my Catholic Bible right here next to me. Like I just showed my rosary beads and everything. I mean, I still practice. I still, do those things, but I'm not big in the church. And like when you were saying, you had been going like 8 times a week or whatever, that was like my daughter. Now, my daughter was an altar server when she
Mhm.
was probably maybe right after her communion, so probably second or third grade or so. And so she was an altar server. I was at church sometimes more than the head priest was at church, and his name was Father Frank. He's retired now, and he would be like, "You're here again? You're here more than I am." And I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
So, my daughter used to fill in for all the kids who didn't want to do altar service and all of that. And I'm like, yes, sure, we'll be there. We'll do it. And, so, but yeah,
Yeah.
so that's that.
We're almost done here. I'm just doing a little bit more because I've had such a delightful time with you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me. I am so grateful.
Oh, you
So
know what? I need
delighted.
to do the sails of these ships down here, so I need to have something that's going to stand out because they're the same color as the water. So I think we'll go in and take some of this bright blue of one of these fluid
Ah,
acrylic.
yeah.
I'm going to put that down in there. And yeah, so we've been at about the 90-minute mark here.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I need to go out and water my plants because they're going to grow up big and strong. And then I
Yes.
somehow keep the deer away.
And what
And
plants are we watering today?
I have I put yeah on Wednesday I put 4 squash and 8 tomato plants.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
so and I'm still have a little bit of a headache from that because I had to uh, uh, I hadn't grown anything in that spot for like 2 years, and so the grass creeped in, so I had to strip the grass out, and then on a Wednesday, it was supposed to like the rains were supposed to come back, and I didn't know how much time I had, and I had these plants that I bought like almost 2 weeks ago, and I thought, they're starting to get looking a little bit sad in their
Right.
containers, and they want to get out of jail. They want to get going.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I got to take care of it. So that on Wednesday, I did that, and then the ground was so rocky there, and I had a pepper garden there in like
Mhm.
2014. I had like one. I had grown and I built a greenhouse around them, and
Oh.
then they like I had peppers that were in the ground 3 years, and then I was on a job working at that casino graveyard shift as a server, and there was a hard freeze during a power outage, and every single one of those plants died, and
Oh my
and so
goodness.
it was so sad. But so last, so when I was like going over that with the rototiller, it was like a jackhammer because it was like there was so much rock and things in the ground, and so I'm still suffering from a little bit from that, but it's just so much
Yes.
vibrations, and it was like, oh, it's like you know running a jackhammer, and I never
Wow. Yeah.
before, but I'm sure that was kind of what it might have been like. And what am I looking
Yes. Yes, Bill. Oh my goodness.
but yeah, one other color here. And then so if you haven't already, go over to Alexis' channel and support her with a sub and watch her stuff. She has some good stuff over there. And then I have my second channel, Tools of Fortune,
Yes. Yes.
my tarot, all about tarot and stuff like that. And I'm really close to having live stream privileges.
Yes, that's awesome, Bill.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's
so
awesome. Yeah,
I'm
that's awesome.
gonna put some of this fluorescent pink in his head.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Need here too. All right. So this is Joseph. This is Alexis. Lexi in her coat of many colors, looking forward into
Yes.
the future. She's all charged up with a yellow glow. It's
Yes, I
beautiful,
love it.
and I've had such a delightful time today. And
I have too, Bill. I thank you so very much. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
yeah, all right. Well, and I wanted to thank everybody, Mama Sushi. I'm sorry that you were the first. Just realized
Yes.
that you were the first West Coasterner, and anyways, uh, and that was it. And so, and everything, everybody, and if you're watching this on the playback, just push all the right buttons and support us and so forth here.
Yes, yes, indeed.
And
Thank you so
yeah,
much. I love it, Bill. I love it.
all right. Well, blessings and peace to you, Lex,
Yes. Blessings to you too.
and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
You as well.
Honor your ancestors who fought in old wars and so forth. And
Yes, yes, indeed.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
All
Well,
right, Bill.
good afternoon and good evening. And thank you very much. And we'll see you all the next time. Bye bye.
Bye.